Hello, friends. It's me, Tuomo Vahkonen, coming to you live today here with Steve Hill. Super excited about today's conversation. We're gonna dive deeper into Steve's adventures and especially how he ran 9 marathons in 9 days in Iceland. But without further ado, Steve Hill, I'm extremely excited to have you today on the show. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm great, thank you, Timo. Thank you for inviting me along. I'm looking forward to having a good chat with you tonight. But yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so let's kind of dive pretty much straight into it. But before we get into Steve's story, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge everybody who is watching us today live or either on replay. If you want, just leave us a little comment of where you're watching from. And if you have any questions for Steve along the journey, as you're listening our conversation about pushing the limits, we're going to talk about resilience, obviously about adventure sports, and also about Steve's current work with children. So leave some comments for us where you're watching from, if anything comes along, and then we'll tackle those questions towards the end of our show. So we're going to go about 30 to 40 minutes with Steve. So with that being said, Steve, help us kind of understand a little bit of your journey in relation to your adventure sports. What is the drive behind that? Like what drives you kind of push your limits, if you will, and then a little bit about those past adventures first. So let's start from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a very young age, I've always enjoyed the outdoors and enjoyed sports and played rugby to a good level for many years. And back in 1997, 25 years ago now nearly, I became a primary school teacher, which for me is the greatest privilege in the world. And I love every minute to be part of these children's lives and to be able to hopefully inspire them and guide them on their journey. And as I say, it's just fantastic. But going back to 2009, maybe midway through my career so far, I realised that the children need a little bit more than just the academic side of life. I wanted to inspire them beyond the classroom. I wanted to open the world up to them. I also wanted to go and push my boundaries and get out there and see what I was capable of. And I'm a firm
Mm,
believer that none of us understand what we're fully capable of until we actually get out there. So we come out of our comfort zone, push our boundaries, and realise that we're capable of so much more than we actually realise. I have a mantra of "I can and I will, just watch me," and it's something I really instill into the children. And let's get out there, let's do it, and let's not be afraid of failure. So back in 2009, I set myself a personal challenge of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and this really took me out of my comfort zone. I'd never done anything like this before in my life, never been to high
mm,
altitude. It excited me, it frightened me, and it excited the children at school. And it was about me pushing my boundaries, but also to show the children that, through self-belief, through hard work and determination, and never giving up when things get tough, anything in life is possible. And this is a
mm,
message I give to the children on a day-to-day basis. And it was a fantastic adventure. My first time in Africa, first time at high altitude. It was an emotional trip. And when I got to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, I became quite emotional, and that surprised me. And
mm,
it was a tough journey. And it was great to come back to school and share it with the children. And it wasn't the intention to carry on with the challenges, but the children pretty much said, "What are you going to do next, sir?" And it's gone from there. And from 2009 onwards, I've been pushing my boundaries. I think it's really important that we keep pushing the boundaries, keep having adventures, keep
mm.
pushing those boundaries, coming out of our comfort zones, because I'm a firm believer that that's where the magic happens, when we come out of our comfort zones. Following on from Mount Kilimanjaro, I went and climbed Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in Western Europe, a little bit more technical than Kilimanjaro. Again, a great adventure. It was then in 2011, trekking through the Sahara Desert, pushing my limits through the Sahara Desert and trying to get different challenges in different terrains, different countries, different environments. Again, to push my boundaries, to get me out seeing the world off the beaten track, but also to take the children on that journey with me and to show them again that, anything is possible.
Mm,
From that, it was a husky expedition through the Arctic wilderness, which again was a great adventure in a different terrain, a different environment. And then I set myself the challenge of climbing Mount Elbrus, the highest mountain in Europe, which again was pushing those limits, and managed to get to the top of the highest point in Europe. It was then off to the jungles of Borneo, and trekking through the jungles of Borneo, around down the Headhunters Trail and climbing Mount Kinabalu. Again, a different terrain, a different environment, which again excited me, excited the children, which was
mm,
fabulous. It was then in 2014 that I was looking at Everest. Everest is a dream of mine. To climb Mount Everest is one of my ultimate
mm,
dreams. To stand on top of the world. would be fantastic. It's very expensive, but it's on my list. It's on my dream, my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
The next best thing I felt was to get to base camp, to experience Nepal, to experience the Himalayas and get to base camp. And whilst I was doing my research, I came across an event called the Mount Everest Marathon, which was a marathon from base camp back to Namche Bazaar, which I didn't know existed. And that really excited me. Bearing in mind at this time of my life, I had never run a marathon in my life. I'd ran to keep fit for the challenge I'd done previously. But I thought, yeah, this is going to be this year's challenge. Running my first marathon at Mount Everest. And you can imagine the people's responses from family and friends. You're totally bonkers. You're going to run your first marathon, possibly the highest marathon in the world. Mm-hmm. And it just gave me that more determination, not to prove to them I could do it, but it was just that reaction from people that we often get in life, isn't it? We often get the doubters, the knockers, when we're out there doing things. And again, it's a message I give to people is we don't listen to the doubters in life. You know, we believe it ourselves, we work hard and we'll achieve those dreams. And, you know, before I knew it, I was trekking through the Himalayas, sleeping at base camp through a snowstorm, and next thing stood on the start line of the Mount Everest Marathon with some of the most accomplished marathon runners in the world. And little Steve Hill, primary school teacher from Oldham, a small little town in England. And that doesn't matter. And again, it's that we're not there to compare ourselves to other people. We're there to be the best we can be, our best version of ourselves, and to push our boundaries, our limits. And it was the most amazing experience. It took me 9.5 hours running back through the Himalayas, back to Namche Bazaar. And yeah, it was tough, but it was amazing. And it was just a great experience. And again, it was me pushing those limits. Again, great to get back to school and share that with the children and you know, open the world of the Himalayas up to the children. It was real for them. And then again, back to the drawing board. What's my next challenge going to be? And I wanted to, again, push the boundaries. And having done my research, I came across the North Pole Marathon. And I thought, well, my second marathon then is going to be at the North Pole. And off I found myself running, you know, 26.2 miles around the North Pole, which again was totally bonkers. I think the temperature was touching -60. And it was just surreal, but it was to be done. And I completed that marathon, a little bit of frost nip in the fingertips. Many hours, very monotonous landscape, a lot of mind games, but a determination to remember why I was doing it, and that determination to keep putting left foot in front of my right foot when the easy option often is to give up, to quit. But it's not. It's about just remembering why you're doing it and just keep pushing forward. Following on from that, I did the Petra Desert Marathon. So I was going for two extremes, from the almost -60 degrees to +40 degrees in the Petra Desert of Jordan, which again was a great experience. Very, very hot, very tough marathon. But following on from that, I thought, well, I need to really up my game. You know, I've done a number of tough marathons now, and the kids are getting a bit bored of that, and I know I can do it. So I go back to that. You know, we don't know what we're capable of until we push our boundaries, until we get out there. So the next event I took part in, or signed up for as it were, was the Amazon Jungle Ultra Marathon, which was 6 marathons in 5 days, running through the Amazon jungle. The difference with this one was obviously the distance was much further, but it was self-sufficient. So I had to carry everything I needed to survive for the 5 days on my back. Sleeping bag, hammock, anti-venom pump, all my food. And that really excited me, but it was really taking me well out of my comfort zone. And, you know, we talk about comfort zone, we talk about dreams, and I have conversations with lots of people, and particularly the children that I teach, that we all should have big dreams. We're all entitled to big dreams. And those dreams should be so big that they excite us so much. They excite us so much they actually frighten us. And nobody has the right to tell us that our dreams are too big. We've got to believe it ourselves. We've got to work for those dreams. So before I knew it, I was in Peru on the start line of the Amazon Jungle Ultra Marathon. Once again, with some of the most accomplished, finest ultramarathon runners in the world. And little old Steve Hill, primary school teacher from Shore in Oldham, who a few days previously had been marking books and, you know, sending the children off on the school holidays, and off I went. And it was an amazing adventure, and lots of little stories and golden nuggets from that I learned along the way. One key one was about setbacks. At the end of stage 1, first marathon completed, I came into camp, and you had a routine when you came into camp. It was hammocks up, wet clothes off, try and get a dry top on, get a little bit of food down you, and then try and get 3 or 4 hours sleep in a hammock in the middle of the jungle with everything going on around you, with ants everywhere and mosquitoes and your snakes. You know, I'm probably not selling it to you, but it was a great adventure. But at the start of day 2, I went to get my trainers on and, you know, get my hammock down and get myself ready for the start of the stage 2. And I realised there was a big rip in my left shoe, which I hadn't realised the night before. And it was a big rip. It was right on the side of the trainer. And I sat there in disbelief. There was no spare trainers. I was in the middle of the Amazon jungle. And here I was. It wasn't planned for, obviously. And I sat there in disbelief. And I felt sorry for myself. And I just thought, oh, game over. I'm feeling strong. I prepared. Last 12 months I've been training for this. And that's it. I'm out. What can I do? It lasted about a minute, and I gave my head a bit of a shake, and I thought about all the people at home supporting me. I thought about the children at school and what they say, and the answer would pretty much be, get on with it, sir, as pretty much I'd said to them in class, get on with it, give your best. I spoke to the race director, and he said, what have you done? Get some gaffer tape, not mend it with some gaffer tape, and I didn't have any gaffer tape, but I've realised now that's an essential part of your kit that you take on these sort of expeditions. So again, a lesson learned, golden nugget, take gaffer tape on all your expeditions. I taped it up. I lost all the grip on my trainer, and I carried on. It kept me in the race, and within 2 days, my other trainer ripped. Obviously, a duff pair of trainers, and I laughed that time. I just laughed and gaffer taped it up and carried on. And as a result, I lost 6 toenails in that event, but I got to the finish line. And it was the most amazing adventure, as you can imagine, running through the Amazon jungle. But afterwards, on reflection, I looked at that trainer and I didn't send it back or complain. I just kept that trainer, and it's there. It's a reminder of that adventure, that journey, but also that setback. That could have finished my race. But I'm a firm believer, and this is another measure I give to people, is there's always going to be setbacks in life. We're always going to get setbacks. The more we do in life, the more setbacks we will get. And that's part and parcel of the journey. What really matters is how we respond to those setbacks. We can feel sorry for ourselves, we can blame other people, and then we can quit, or we can not like it, but we can take responsibility for that setback. We can get the gaffer tape out and the zip ties, look for those solutions, and then we push on and we stay in the race. We keep, one step in front of the other, and we keep moving forward. And I think it's important for young people, older people, to realise that failure, setbacks are all part of the learning process, all part of the journey. And as I said, not to fear that. But it was a real lesson in life, that was. As I say, I do keep the toenails in a little Ziploc bag in class, and from time to time we pass it around, and the trainer's there, and as I say, gaffer tape on all my trips from the going forward. Following on from that, it was the Arctic Ice Ultra, so it was running 5 marathons in 6 days through the Arctic wilderness in the middle of winter, which again had its own dangers, if you like, hypothermia, frostbite, frostnip, but an amazing adventure, again, which I managed to complete. There were 30 people starting that race, and 12 of us finished. So you can imagine, as I said, the dangers and people not intended to be pulled out, but pulled out because of a variety of reasons. And amazing experiences, seeing the Northern Lights, running under the Northern Lights. And it's about getting out there and seeing these amazing spectacles within our world. Following on from that, I took part in the Uganda Marathon, which was going to Uganda to run a marathon, but prior to that, to get involved in lots of projects within the communities in Masaka in Uganda. And that was a real life-changing moment, seeing what was needed over there, education-wise, healthcare-wise, and what a small amount of support and help can make such a massive difference to the lives of people, particularly children over there. And that then led me to setting up a charity, Team Hill Charitable Trust, which is helping others. It's helping projects in Uganda to this day, and helping people locally in need. And obviously, we came to the fore during lockdown and helped people, with food shops and anyone who needed support and prescription pickups, and hopefully, continue to be a force for good within that. But as I said, my big motivation is to develop this resilience in myself, but in other people. And I find it's something that's really lacking quite often in young people, that it's easy to give up. And that resilience isn't there, so I'm hopefully showing them through my challenges. As I said, that we don't give up when things get tough. Anything is possible with self-belief and hard work and determination. And I said, and you just keep moving forward. And it culminated in my most recent challenge, just 3 weeks ago now, during the summer holidays, was the Great Norse Run, running 9 marathons in 9 days from the north coast to the south coast of Iceland, which was just the most epic of adventures. And as I say, it's looking forward to sharing that with you now.
Yeah, wow. Well, that was a lot there that you like. Let me just let's take a little breather over there. So you've done a lot. I just want to, before we get into the Iceland and what you did there and how did you do it, I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. Just wanted to highlight something. I mean, there's a lot of golden nuggets that you pulled out of there, but one thing that really stood out for me, the way you said it, was that we are all entitled to big dreams. We are all entitled to big dreams. And a lot of people don't really have that either self-belief, or they don't trust themselves, or and so on and so forth, to have those bigger ambitions and bigger dreams and bigger goals, to put them out there. And as you just mentioned, and I'm also a firm believer for this, what you mentioned, that once we put something out there, like far out, and something that is larger than ourselves, it gives us this focus, it gives us this momentum to be able to go for it. So was this all, like you mentioned, like before the very first marathons, was that something that you had kind of deep within you already as you were growing up, or when you were younger? Like you obviously developed that resilience, because I mean, again, maybe you can help me understand this better, because you develop more and more resilience as you go. We develop more and more momentum and excitement and so on and so forth. Was that something that was kind of like a burning desire before all these adventures already, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, as I said at the beginning, I've always enjoyed the outdoors. You know, the Army Cadets, the Scouts, and so forth, the Cub Scouts, and enjoyed camping out and so forth. And then it became a focus on playing rugby to a reasonable level, amateur rugby, for many, many years. But I think that drive's always been there. And then that refocus, having stopped playing rugby, the focus then was, again, through my teaching, to get back out, to get back pushing my limits. I've never been a runner. I don't even consider myself a runner now. You know, I'm a good plodder. And people do say, you know, how do you do these things? And it is that positive, strong mindset. And I talk about a challenge mode. You know, when I get on that plane and fly to the destination for the challenge, I flip my mind into challenge mode, that, you know, whatever gets thrown at me, I deal with it. You know, swimming through rivers in the middle of the night across in the Amazon jungle, knowing that there's snakes and caiman and piranha fishing there, and you don't think about it. You just get on with it. You push on, and you know, when you come back to normal civilian life, you think, wow, how did I do that? But it is that mindset, isn't it? I just think your mind is so powerful and so strong. It is that, so, you know, your mind says do it, your body will follow, isn't it? And we know there's low points. You know, there's that little voice in your head that says, come on, have a sit down, have a rest. This is getting silly now. You know, stop. But you just get that little voice that says, come on, just one more step, keep pushing forward, and giving yourself those little targets. And it is that resilience, isn't that digging deep, of realizing that we don't take the easy option. Let's push on, because it'll be worth it in the end, isn't it? You know, I'm always saying about, you know, getting to that start line, making that decision to start in the first place is probably our biggest hurdle, isn't it? Making that decision to say, you know what, booking the trip or deciding I'm going to go for that marathon. That's obviously our biggest hurdle. Once you've made that decision, you put it out there, like you say, preparing well, getting to that start line, and then getting to the finish line. Yeah, it's important, but I think it's very important to enjoy the journey as well. I've never been one for chasing times. It's enjoying that journey, taking it in, as I say, and then enjoying that moment when you do cross the finish line, you know, all being well. If you don't, you've had to go with it, haven't you? And that's the main thing. But I just think it is, hopefully, as I say, these are tough challenges. There are low points, but it's keep putting forward. And it doesn't matter what pace you go at, slow paces, as long as you're moving forward, you get into that final destination, you go like that finish line. And, you know, I do see it in children, you know, regularly, that lack of resilience, that lack of aspiration. We talk about those big dreams that, you know, if I do speak to a group of children and just say, you know, put your hands up who's got big dreams, and no hands go up. And it's like the most upsetting thing. Why not?
Wow.
And often it is because of background. Well, I come from, you know, this poor background, it's trying to get that message across to them that, again, you're entitled to big dreams. Why not? But you've got to believe it, and you've got to work for it. And like you said, chase those dreams, isn't it? Gives you a goal, gives you a momentum, gives you a purpose in life, doesn't it? To follow those dreams, and it makes life exciting and interesting. So yeah, you know, resilience is my big thing, you know, and it's in class on a daily basis. But as I said, the message I'm giving all the time, things will get tough. Just keep pushing forward, isn't it? And looking behind you, I often say it is like a journey, isn't it? You know, moving forward, but stopping from time to time and just looking behind and seeing how far you've come. And it might be a run, it might be a climb. But also, you know, related to things like, you know, revising for your GCSEs. You know, it's a big undertaking, isn't it? But, you know, give yourself a pat on the back from time to time, isn't it? You know, you've done well here. We've still got quite a distance to go, but you've come a long way. A lot of pats on the back, and, you know, these big journeys, you know, breaking them down to small, manageable chunks, isn't it? Small successes all the time. And, you know, if it is running a marathon or running an ultra marathon, it's you know, for me, it's one step at a time that becomes 1 mile at a time, that becomes one checkpoint at a time, then 1 day at a time. And suddenly these massive undertakings become manageable, don't they? Because they're little small successes along the way. So, yeah, it's a big thing. And I think it's a big thing we need to keep developing in our youngsters in life, because, as I say, often that easy option is just too easy for them.
Yeah, and to be honest, Steve, I don't think it's just the youngsters. I think that's for each and every one. In like there's a lot of people that I help out, and they have these aspirations, but there's something within that's stopping them. I mean, obviously, young people, it's a perfect place to plant those seeds, but at the same time, we can do that whichever part of life we are. There's another thing that just stood out for me that you mentioned about the excitement there. I think how big of a role, or let's put it this way, were you sort of changing the fears of those big dreams into an excitement? Was that kind of a reframe that you were playing out, or how big of a role the excitement played in the preparations? Because obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but once you start the journey, once you start the marathon or you're in the Amazon, I think the excitement probably transfers into a different feeling. It comes more about the enjoyment or more about the challenge. But the prior to the start line, it's probably that like the mix between fear and excitement, and then it changes into something else.
Absolutely, it's all emotions, isn't it? As I say, it's that initial researching, making that decision to go for it, and then thinking, right, you do get excited, apprehensive, nervous, every emotion. But that's what life's about, isn't it? Life's about all those emotions, isn't it? It's living that exciting life, that colourful life. But it's that belief in yourself. You know, I will work hard. I'll prepare myself well. I'll cover every eventuality. Things may go wrong. The training may split. You know, I may get altitude sickness, what have you. That's part and parcel of that journey, isn't it? The unexpected side. But as I say, it's exciting and it's going into the unknown. And as I say, each year, you know, I've tried to push the boundaries and go for something a bit more difficult, either further or higher or what have you. And there's no guarantee I'm going to succeed. And that's the exciting thing. You know, I'm seeing what I'm capable of. And luckily, thankfully, like I said, I've worked hard for it. I've managed to succeed in all of those. There'll come a day where my body will break maybe and I won't succeed. But I don't like to go back over things that I've already done and know I can achieve. It's about pushing that boundary again and thinking, you know, am I capable of this? And I know I'm capable of so much more than I realise. More than 9 marathons in 9 days. I think, you know, what's next? 20 marathons in 20 days. Who knows? But it's getting that message across to every single individual out there in our world that we're all capable of more than we realise. We've all got it inside us. And once we stop using that word, I can't, and start using that word, I can, you start to realise that the person that they think they are is no match for the one that they really are. It's about getting out there and pushing that boundary, not being afraid to do so. I think, and that just makes life so much more full and vibrant and exciting.
Love it, Steve. Okay, let me just pull out really quickly a comment here. Thomas is saying, I wish I had such an inspiring teacher when I was in school. Thanks for that comment.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, another golden nugget that I would have pulled out was that live in an exciting life. Live in an exciting life. I'll take that as a golden nugget for myself for sure from this already. The other thing that let's get into the Iceland right now. So this is the latest one that you've done, 9 marathons in 9 days. And something that's kind of my highlight of, you know, when I talk a lot about high performance and sort of performance living and sort of that type of lifestyle, and that's what you're living. You're living and breathing example of that. And some of us, I like to call it like you can swing into the fences once or twice, but you're a testament that you've done it over and over again throughout the years and staying healthy. And I'm not a huge believer in luck as such. I think it's preparation, it's determination, taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally for sure. So the word that comes out that you've been able to do that very sustainably. You've had that sustainability in your craft, in your adventures, if you will. You haven't, you know, as I mentioned, you haven't gotten injured, no major, you know, like physical problems, if you will. I'm sure, like you mentioned, there's a few hiccups, but so help us understand, for example, what goes into the preparation, for example, for the Iceland 9 marathons in 9 days that you just did, and any other sort of points of how you can keep this sort of lifestyle sustainable throughout the years.
Yeah, so obviously lots of preparation. I mean, it's 12 months or more training wise. So it's keeping fit and healthy, eating a good balanced, healthy diet, you know, which is key again, isn't it? It's looking after ourselves healthily, mentally, keeping mentally strong, and putting the training, you know, and putting the training in during the winter months when it's difficult. I'm a full-time primary school teacher, which is, you know, is a heavy workload. So, I'm in school at 7 o'clock in the morning. I do sports after school with the children, lots of paperwork, lots of marking. It is my passion, and it's fitting everything around that, but being disciplined. You come home at night in winter, it's dark, it's raining, you've been at school maybe 11 hours. It'd be easy just to, put the feet up, have a shower, have an early night, what have you, and it's being disciplined to get out there and get the miles in, but enjoying that because it is part of the journey. So it is all the preparation in getting the body physically ready for it. It's key to get the mind mentally fit, ready for it. That you know what's coming, so there's going to be unexpected things happening, but getting your head on it. And as I say, getting into that challenge mode, which I'm able to do, and that's just a good strong mindset I've got. And I know that's some people, claim not to, but I think it's something that you can work on. It's knowing why I'm doing it, and the children at school are a big motivation, and I know not people have always got that, but I've got the children, a new class every year, and it's going to be every year. It's what are you doing this year, sir? What's our challenge going to be? So, and that's lovely that they have that ownership of it. That it's our challenge. We're doing this together, and they are, and whether they realise it or not, they're a big motivation and a big inspiration to me. These young children who, want to know what challenge I'm doing. They're part of it, and each morning they'll say, "Did you go out for your run last night, sir?" So they're keeping me accountable, if you like. They might like my cheer squad, and it's important to me that I don't want to let them down. And then when I do go on the challenge, they write me letters to take with me and open on day 1, open on day 2, and I'll open them in camp. And it's like, we believe in you, sir. You can do it, and you don't believe what a massive boost and motivation that is. So it is being disciplined. It has become part of my life now. So it is a part of, I've got back from Iceland 3 weeks ago now, and I'm already looking for my next challenge, which again, to excite me again and give me that drive. I'm running the London Marathon next Sunday, which is a big event. But, for me, it's like, well, I've just run 9 marathons, so I'm going to go and enjoy London Marathon. But I need a big challenge now for this year. And I don't do myself any favours having just run 9 marathons across Iceland. It's like, well, how do I beat that? How do I surpass that? But I'm looking to surpass it. But there's only so many events out there, so I might have to start putting my own events together. But it's always remembering your why, isn't it? Why you decided to do something in the first place, and keep that motivation going. And I know people can lose the motivation, but it's about being self-motivated, isn't it? And putting the hard work in when no one's watching, when it's dark and it's wet. Throughout those dark months, it's putting the work in, knowing that it's doing you good and it's going to be worth it in the end. It is, it's well worth it. So my message to everyone is, it is worth it. Get out there, whether it's training for a 5K or a 10K. But it's not all about running, is it? My message is coming through challenges, physical challenges, climbing mountains and running. But it's about whatever it is in life, isn't it? Whatever your challenge is in life, whatever your dream is in life. It might be to play the piano, or to be determined to do that, or to learn a foreign language, or whatever. Make that first step, isn't it, in that direction of making it happen. Because there's only one person who can make it happen for you, and it's yourself, isn't it? So get out there and do it.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, there's so much that you're just saying there and unpacking everything. I'm just pulling out those wisdom nuggets and bombs that you're just saying there. When it's raining and dark, no one's watching, and that's when we have to pull ourselves out and open, because it's really, again, like I fully echo what you're saying, because it's so easy. Well, it's so much easier to get out there when it's when sun is out and it's warm and people cheering you on. But what do you do on those rainy days when it's dark and cloudy, when nobody's watching? That's when you build this resilience. That's when you're building the mindset. That's when you really sort of measured against yourself, and not against anyone else. But that's when those measurements come into play. So pure gold there, pure gold. Thank you so much, Steve. So let's really quickly backtrack onto that Iceland. So 9 marathons in 9 days. What were the sort of key lessons that you got from there? Because as I mentioned, you've done so many things all around the world, everywhere. Do you still learn something from each adventure? And specifically, what did you come home from Iceland with?
Yeah, every adventure is different. You're meeting different people, different terrains, and encountering different problems. And this one was, I mean, the thing that appealed to me with this one was that going from one course to the other course, running across a country, really appealed to me. The fact it was 9 marathons in 9 days had a nice ring to it. And the difference here was it wasn't a race, whereas the other events have been races. And I will point out that I'm not the fastest. I'm often at the back of the pack, which the children don't get, because sir should be coming first, sort of thing. And it's like, no, it doesn't matter. You do your best, you try and get to that finish line. And I am not a fast runner. This wasn't a race, so it was a difference of running together, running by, running solo, but people were there really supporting each other, which was lovely. So it was just, as I said, it was an epic adventure. And what I learned from the start, it was a bit overwhelming in many ways. It's like 9 marathons in 9 days. And when you sat there and actually thought about that, you thought, wow, that's a long, long way. And I said it earlier, I touched on it earlier, that it was about breaking that down into small, manageable chunks. So I discounted day one because day one's going to be quite a novel day and we're just going to enjoy it and getting sort of warmed up. I discounted the final day, thinking, well, that's the final day, that's a celebratory day, and we're going to enjoy that. So then that took it down to 7 marathons in 7 days, in a sense. And before I knew it, I'd completed day 1 and 2. And each day was, you were up in the morning, a little bit of breakfast, and off we went. And we had a checkpoint about every 12 kilometres. And it was going back to that mantra again, which I do have in my head, of left foot, right foot, repeat. But just saying, one step at a time. Get that first step going, and we loosen up and we're going forward. And one step becomes 1 mile. So get 1 mile out of the way. That 1 mile suddenly gets us to that first checkpoint. Let's get that first checkpoint out of the way. And then that first checkpoint becomes the second checkpoint. And then before we know it, we're coming into camp and we've done that day. And then, give yourself a bit of the pat on the back for that. So the big thing for that, because of the distance, was splitting it into those small successes that I knew I could achieve, that give you those boosts, keep that motivation going. And before you know it, you're halfway. And then, having discounted the last day that didn't count, we were getting there. Then you get to the end, towards the end, and you're getting a little bit emotional, as most people were in the group. They didn't want it to end. It was becoming a part of our life. We were getting to know each other very well. We were becoming a family. We were supporting each other. And yeah, it was tough. Of course it was. There were meltdowns with some people. There were tears. There was support from everybody. We were a real close-knit people. And as we got to the end, people were thinking, this amazing journey is coming to an end. And there was emotion of a different sense. And at the finish line, it was a big group hug, and there were a lot of tears of joy, if you like. But, I've made friends for life there. We're still in touch. I'm already talking about doing events together again. So,
nice.
The big gold nugget there, the terrain wasn't as tough as in the jungle or in the Arctic, but the distances were. And again, I've enjoyed that journey. The terrain changed every single day, and it was the most spectacular place to run. It was like running on the moon at times with a lunar landscape. It was just a grey landscape, grey sky, no colour at all. We got to the tents at night, which were yellow, and your eyes were all very funny because we had no colour at all in our eyes all day. But we'd got the greenery to begin with. We were running through volcanoes, the lava fields, waterfalls, geothermal springs. It's just an amazing country, which I'd highly recommend visiting. And it really is the land of fire and ice. You wouldn't be surprised to have seen a Tyrannosaurus Rex coming from behind one of the volcanoes. It's just that otherworldly. And it was about, again, I say, not running with your head down and not looking at your Garmin watch to look at your time or your steps. It's about just enjoying that journey, keeping your head up, looking around, stopping, taking in where you are, and just being privileged to think, wow, I'm in the middle of Iceland here. Yes, I'm running 9 marathons, but let's remember it's a journey. Let's take it in. Let's enjoy it. Let's make those memories. And it is about the memories, isn't it? You do these things and you're making amazing memories. And I'm so lucky to be able to share those experiences and those memories with other people and use them to hopefully inspire other people to follow their own dreams, to push their own boundaries and to get out there. And not for 1 minute am I suggesting that people should run 9 marathons across Iceland. I would highly recommend it, but it's about, as I say, pushing your boundaries to be the best that you can be at what you want to be doing, but living that exciting life again, because it's too easy to get stuck in a rut, isn't it? Stuck in a routine, and there is a lot of routine in life, but as I say, a lot of routine in teaching in many ways, but I try and make it exciting in the classroom. Every day we're talking about, we've got a walls full of motivational quotes referring to all the different challenges. It's can't's a banned word, it's a swear word. They get in trouble for using it with tongue in cheek. And instilled in them is, I can and I will, just watch me, sir. And if that's the only thing they take out of class and go through life with that mentality of, I can and I will, just watch me. Fabulous. Job done. And we talk about big dreams and, talk about making bigger dreams. And as I say, it's a passion because, yes, it's important to pass exams and do the academic side, but I want to leave them with life skills, with character, with determination, with resilience, with the understanding that setbacks are fine. But as I say, it's a message that's applicable to anybody, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Steve. I will, watch me. That's another beautiful beautiful one golden nugget right there. Um, I just wanted to highlight here, Susan is saying, thank you for motivating others. It's about one step at a time. You inspire others with your passion and determination. So as you mentioned there, hopefully I'm inspiring you. Let's take that hopefully out of there. You are.
Thank you.
So you know that already. But so let's start sort of wrapping this around a little bit, where we are coming up to a time here, and I truly appreciate your time with us again here. What would be your sort of 1 to 3 advices or tips or tools with someone who's watching this or listening to you right now, that have those aspirations, have those big dreams, but it's kind of don't find that determination, don't have that willpower right now to make that first step? What was important for you, or how did you, in the very beginning, how did you get yourself over the edge, if you will? What made you to take the leap?
Yeah, it was, again, that first decision was to go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro, which was, again, totally out of my comfort zone. So it's doing your research, it's finding something that will excite you, will take you beyond what you think is your limits, and it's sharing it with other people. I think once you've said it out loud, once you've shared it with somebody else or other people, it becomes real and tangible, doesn't it? It's not just a thought in your head. It's real, it's out there. And those people will hopefully then encourage you. But once I think it's out there, you're more than inclined. And it's about just taking that first step towards making that a reality, if you like. That becomes the second step. And sticking with it, as I say, and knowing that not for 1 minute will they ever regret it. It will possibly change their lives forever, whatever that first step is towards that goal, isn't it? Because it is about, we get so wrapped up in our daily lives, isn't it, and our busy lives. We forget our dreams. What dreams do we have when we were younger? To just sit back and think, what is my dream? What would I like to be doing in life? What's going to really excite me? Have a think about it. Share it with somebody else and take that first step. And before you know it, you're on your way, and life will never be the same again. I know it's a big statement, but it is. My life, I never thought that, back in 2009, that I'd be speaking to you tonight or doing a podcast or speaking publicly. It was never something that I never intended doing, never thought I would do. And it just leads you, the more you do in life and the more you push and challenge yourself, it leads you on paths that you never thought you'd go down. And I said to children often, I have a quote of, if a window opens and a prospect pleases, float through that window, it may never open again. And, it's led me to do award evenings at the local high schools, presenting D.A.V. awards to past pupils. I've been to Buckingham Palace to present Gold Duke of Edinburgh awards and St James's Palace. And I often sit there and pinch myself and think, how have I ended up here?
Wow.
But it's that journey again, isn't it? Of like I say, I think we're all here. We've got a role, haven't we? And we can make a bit of a difference in the world. If we can change other people's lives to a small degree, if we can, through our actions, inspire other people to follow in some way, then that's what life's about, isn't it? Making a difference to the lives of other people in whatever way we can. And it's a powerful thing, and we can all do it. We can all make that difference. We just got to believe it, haven't we? Believe in ourselves. And I'll go back to that again, that mantra I have, through self-belief, which is where it all starts, hard work and determination, and never giving up when things get tough. Anything in life is possible. Get that in our heads, and let's get out there and achieve those great things.
Wow. That gives me chills right there. I've got a lot to unpack after this, and I think the first thing that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go and get those trainers out and go for a run for sure, Steve. Thank you so much already. Let's just a quick shout out to the people that have been watching here with us live for the whole time. If you have any quick questions, just put them in the chat box right now. We have a couple of minutes here with Steve, but if you have any questions, please put them there, and maybe Steve can answer anything that comes out. We can answer. But just before we get into there, Steve, where can people find you? I know you're busy in your daily life, but I assume LinkedIn, that's where you are sort of socially online. Where else people can find you, and how can people get connected with you? Absolutely.
And like I say, busy, but never too busy to ever give any advice to people. Always there if anyone needed any advice or wanted to chat. Absolutely. So on LinkedIn at Steve Hill MBE. I'm on Facebook under Steve Hill. And again, there's lots of photographs on there from all the challenges, if people would like to see any, those wonderful photographs. Instagram at Steve Hill _MBE. On Twitter at HIL3494. And a little bit of news that's not really out there at the moment. throughout lockdown, I've actually written a book about some of the about the challenges as well. So that's going to be just coming to a close now. I've just finished the chapter on Iceland, and that will be coming out in the very near future. And it's entitled "What's Next, Sir?" How one teacher's mission to inspire his pupils taught him so much more in return. So a very surreal thing. It's something I never envisaged. It was always a case of too busy, wouldn't know where to start. And with a young man called Ian Blunt, we've written it together, and it's very exciting. And I hope it'll go down well with people. It's about the adventures, the motivation behind the adventures, some little golden nuggets in there, if you like, some advice, and lots of photographs from challenges. So I will keep you posted on that. As I say, it's exciting.
What's next, sir? I love that title already. I was going to ask if you can uncover the title first, but there it is. I'm in the process of writing a book as well. I'm still in the midway sort of it, but yeah, that's it's a journey for sure. That it is. As well, but yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Steve. It looks like we lost you there, Steve, for a single second. Let's see if we can get him back. But yeah, looks like Steve jumped out. Let's see if we can get him back really quickly. Let me just have it really quickly. But I just wanted to that's an interesting one. I just wanted to quickly acknowledge Diana and Damien there. Susan is saying, let's see, Susan, super thanks for the inspiration, one step at a time. Diana saying the book is amazing. And also Damien is saying inspirational, Steve, well done. So yeah, guys, I know Steve kind of jumped out there a little bit, so I'm gonna just wrap this up. Let's say he's back. There he is.
I don't know what happened there. Don't know what happened. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. We'll just thanks for coming back. So we'll just wrap this around. I just wanted to pull out. Diana is saying that Steve, you are truly amazing. Diana is there saying book is amazing. Susan is saying thank you so much for the inspiration. So I just wanted to put that out there for you as well. So Steve, thank you so much for today. I know I took a little bit of your time this evening. Very, very grateful, very inspiring, very motivational. There's a lot of golden nuggets. Living an excited life. That's one of the big ones, and obviously the other one that we are all entitled to big dreams. Those are the ones that I'm gonna come out of this one. So thank you so much, sir. And I really, truly look forward to following your journey and all the socials. And I truly hope maybe we can see each other in a live setting sooner than later.
I hope so. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me along. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.